Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Link to the Past Randomizer 2019-2020 tournament. It's the semifinals. 4 runners remain, and we are about to see the 2 of the 4 face off here and now with Doomtap versus Acktheboker. How is it going, folks? I am Wolfling0370, and joining me on the mic is Hupfin. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How about you?
Going pretty well here. So, game 1, we all know it. It's going to be open 7-7. Loser has a chance to change a setting to try to twist things around. And this is it. Semifinals. Pretty far in the tournament here. Quite a few 2-0s. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to provide the same breakdown. We've had a lot of, on Doomtap's side, a lot of 2-1s throughout the bracket stage against Weighty Words, against Monta, and Amazing Ampharos.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Conversely, Acktheboker's done 2-0 sweeps against all of his opponents except for one. Ironically, Doomtap also had only one 2-0 sweep. So these two are also 26 and 27 in the seeding of the tournament for the bracket stages. And I looked, and there's also a 25 on the other side. So apparently being right in the middle of the bracket, or maybe the tail end, I don't remember, seems to be pretty good, working out for our runners here.
Yeah, that 25-26 range, that is about in the middle of our bracket stage after the 100+ people in our initial group stage. But once you get into the bracket stage, you get paired with, pretty much anyone. And once it becomes...
Yeah, so we're going to be starting off here any second now. And these two racers, they're here for a reason. We're going to see some pretty good randomizer routing here as we get started in just a short little bit.
Yep, should be any second here.
And here we go. We are off.
Both runners heading off to the sanctuary and getting flippers right out of the gate.
That's good and also bad if they were thinking about doing a hula hand opening. And 2 pendants as well as a 5-6 crystal in desert. And no green pendant in sight, so green pendant's in the dark world.
For our runner's sake, I am hoping they get their Dark World access nice and early, because that's where everything is going to be.
Classic poultry riding. Wow, poultry's very generous with early money.
Yeah, the only thing you'd want to see other than that is some bombs. Oops. But 80 rupees, plenty to get going with.
Order crab. Dying before Doomtap can check it. There's the hammer! And I believe that is a piece of heart on the lumberjack. I went to the very bottom pixels of it.
Well, our runners are definitely happy that those items are in that order and not hammer on lumberjack and piece of heart in the woods.
Yeah. Oh, bombs from the crab. That is really good.
So we had Acktheboker save, quit, immediately out, going to go down and buy some bombs, and possibly doing the flipper route as a result of that. So this makes perfect sense since we didn't see Ack grabbing the crab. There's a sword on Lake Hylia Island already. We'll see which one that ends up being in the order, though. We still need the mirror and the moon pearl to get to it, but that's good information.
Something else we should point out here is we also saw a bottle in the hideout, so we can do a pretty thorough sweep of Kakariko as we're about to see Doomtap do right now.
Yeah, if we stumble onto Magic Powder, that's all of Light World... Well, Magic Powder and the Flute. That's all of Light World Kakariko taken care of in one fell swoop.
And we
But
have the Kings of Maria.
That's going to be necessary. We already know just from the crystal layout, our runners are going to have to do either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock.
Yeah. So a medallion is required at some point. We don't know which one or where it's going to be required.
Grabbing some bombs off of the uncle and some money in the well. A fair amount of money.
And there's bombos in the well.
So we are really seeing just the value of that crab having bombs and Doomtap grabbing them, able to do a pretty straightforward, pretty direct route, get lots of money on hand. That's all you're going to need for the seed, really. Ack is having to go a little off script, go and do the rescue and escape sequence, which is an area that runners can end up orphaning over time.
Yeah, this is a fairly unique routing considering Ack's avoiding Kakariko.
Yeah, we have seen that a handful of times throughout the tournament, and it's like any other route. Sometimes it does pay off, sometimes it doesn't. If there's any value in here, then Ack is going to be in a good spot. That's how it goes.
At the same time, Doomtap might just as easily just check this immediately after finishing up the Kakariko routing, and then go to South Shore from there.
Oh, sure. I'd say avoid Kakariko routing is a little less common than avoid escape.
Yeah. And I can understand Acktheboker's play here, given the fact he has a hammer. That is an ideal weapon to do the escape with, so that you can make sure you clear this out. You don't miss anything here that's important early on.
Yes, Doomtap has cleaned out Kakariko to the best of his ability. Gonna head to the house, and we'll see if this is a follow on the escape or straight down to the South Shore.
That was Sankart there.
That was Sankart.
And it looks like Doomtap will indeed be heading into the castle. A little bit more well-equipped than Ack is, but that's a moot point. The hammer does most of the work here. And it looks like Ack is going to opt for a south-north play through Kakariko. Not an uncommon way to go through the place. You get those guaranteed bombs on your way. Oh, 50-50 bush, but still, they're there. They're always there.
Yeah, and worst case, if you have a little bit of cash in your pocket, the shop is on the south side of town. So you do usually end up seeing a more south to north if you're having trouble getting bombs, but no trouble getting money.
So, Aga is very unlikely at this point, but we still need to find that Moon Pearl. And a glove.
Yeah, we are just 2 items away from our Dark World access. Honestly, finding that hammer so early is gotta be a huge relief.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's a bit tedious to just have Titan's Bits and no hammer.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think of where they should go next, and Ack's already been to check some of the South Shore, but I'm not sure he went to everywhere.
I think he really only went under the bridge, and that was it. So, yeah, my next play would be South Shore. I probably would have made that play before going into the castle like Doomtap is doing, honestly.
Well, I can see Doomtap doing this as well, and when he's done, Doomtap can go to the South Shore and then transition into doing a full Zora check.
This is true, yeah. I mean, when you're at the semifinals at this stage of this scale of a tournament, you're thinking of those small optimizations, and those are the ones that are going to make or break it.
And of course, I'm not sure if either of the runners studied the other, but there is also maybe a little bit of meta gaming in this, so that you know what your opponent is going to do, and you're trying to predict that and play around it.
That is very true. I always like to say that there is an aspect of doing randomizers that is reading the seed, but there is an aspect of randomizer tournaments that is reading your opponent.
And there's the Moon Pearl in the dam.
Ooh.
All right.
So we just need any sort of lift, and we got the Dark World available to us.
Worst case scenario is we just find everything we need for fighting Aga, and the gloves are both in Dark World. Very unlikely at this point, but it could still happen.
Yeah, that would be amusingly brutal.
What's also brutal here is these crabs. Doomtap and Ack will both have to be careful. Can only take 2 hits max currently from those crabs. On Green Tunic, they take the whole 2 hearts off your health.
Yeah, surprisingly mean enemies for where you find them in the game.
They also have a different speed depending on which way they're going. New Older Cave. So far, nothing really that great. Except that. That's the Ice Rod.
That's very great. No need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, we could still. For all we know, Green Pendant could just be Turtle Rock. We won't know until we either talk to the hospital or get our eyes in Dark World.
You know, Act making use of those full magic drops and that cane. I mean, there's many ways to handle mini Moldorms.
Yeah, Kane seems to be the most consistent I find, partly because they're likely to run into the block.
Yeah, it's the one approach that uses their unpredictable movement against them.
Alright, Acktheboker is going to be checking Ice Rod Cave here. We'll see where Doomtap goes. Doomtap is heading up to Zora. Gonna abandon Ice Rod Cave for the time being. Kind of makes sense. It's a very out-of-the-way location.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of runners who will save that until they have the flute, make it a little easier to access. And certainly that would be the smart play in this seed, with it just having a piece of heart.
And 5 rubies and the single arrow in the waterfall cave. Not a great find, that. Of course, there is one benefit to what Ack is doing, and that is Ack is not leaving any locations behind. Less loose ends means a more thorough, or at least a more efficient item hunt when you get into that phase of the randomizer. But for right now, Doomtap is fine where he is.
Yeah, Doomtap's play is a huge advantage if this ends up being a very efficient, jet seed kind of situation where you're not doing the hunt. There's a glove.
There's a glove. We have Darkhold access. Zora actually paying having a worthwhile item for 500 rupees.
An immensely worthwhile item with this situation. That's going to give Doomtap plenty of options for where to go next.
Indeed. Dark World is completely open at this point, and most common play you see is to check the Hype Cave, and the map check says Palace of Darkness is the green pendant, and the other 5/6 crystal is vanilla in Ice Palace. Completely vanilla too, it's Dungeon 5. And Bo, maybe? Bo's maybe in Ganon's Tower, actually, now that someone's pointing it out. We have both of our... There's a sword.
Hey!
But yeah, both of our bows... There's a Titan... Okay!
And a mirror!
Okay, that's a pretty dang good Hype Cave.
What?
Alright.
What is this, V17?
But yeah, what I was getting at... lost my train of thought. The bows could both be in Ganon's Tower because we both... the bow lock dungeons are pendants to seed.
So yeah, Doomtap is off to the races here, with the sword and the mirror. And a bow.
There's a bow! Okay, Doomtap, you found a lot of good items here.
I think the phrase is spoiled for choice.
And Ack is hot on Doomtap's heels here. Now, we still need a fire rod. We need the flute. We need the hook shot.
We logically need the lamp, but technically no.
Yeah. Could need boots. And we could need the boot hook depending on where the flute is. We could need to go in the desert before we go to Misery Mire. So there's still a lot of variables in the seed, and also we still need at least one more sword. And if it's just one more sword, ideally the silver arrows would be nice to have as well.
Yeah, so far, with the possible exception of bombos, every unique item that we've found so far is essential for clearing the seed.
Oh, chat's reminding me, we have another sword. It's here on Hylia Island.
And Ack is gonna go grab it now. Start clearing out the Dark World on Master Sword.
So, collectively our runners have the minimum requirements to defeat Ganon. Don't have the requirements to actually get to Ganon at this point in time. It is an open 7-7 defeat Ganon goal. So, Ganon is not open until we get to Aga 2. And Aga 2 is only vulnerable if we can get all the crystals. Ack checking Pyramid. Doomtap, meanwhile, checking Smiths.
Yeah, Doomtap is taking this west side route, Ack going to the east. Both of them being pretty thorough in their approaches.
Both of them also finding 20 rupees, apparently. Now, here's something I don't actually remember. Did Doomtap actually check the floating island? Or the Lake Hylia Island?
I believe so. I believe when he did the dip to visit the guy under the bridge.
Oh god, Zach, why?
Yes, well, if you haven't played this yourself, there are a number of things you can configure. One of them is the heart beep speed. Normally, you slow it down. Normally.
And there's the shovel on Catfish. A lot of point Acktheboker in the direction of Stumpy and getting the bow. And we are blessedly spared from the double beep. Or is that quadruple beep speed? I don't even remember.
I think it is only double beep, but so many runners will do half speed that, you know, it sounds like it's 4 times.
Yeah. I do quarter, so I can't tell.
Yeah, I do think we're going to see Ack, going straight towards Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town, not bothering with Skullwoods just yet. Even though you have those front chests that are accessible without a fire rod, if you can loop it all in, then, all the better.
Ack finding the cape in the chess minigame. We do have Bumper Cave nearby, and that is in logic without the hook shot.
Yeah, that is true. We haven't seen what's up there.
Matter of fact, the hookshot can be up there because you can just slide along the first bit on the upper floor.
Well, there's our powder in Thieves Town, so we can take care of Magic Bat once we're done.
Yeah, both runners getting a fair variety of items here. I think we still have 2 items left?
I think so.
I wasn't paying too much attention to the front 4, but we did just see the map and the big key. Oh, no, we have... Oh yeah, definitely 2 items left, because Point Office is also in Doomtap's possession.
Yep, so I believe this is going to be the key.
It could not be. Okay, it is.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on small key possibilities on blind itself.
Smokey cannot be on blind, but it can be in the big chest, which Doomtap is checking right now.
Oh, right. And just grabbing a piece of heart, but a convenient refill.
Ooh. Alright, so blind fight coming up here for Doomtap, and following suit eventually will be Acktheboker. Blind is a somewhat scripted fight here.
Yep, Axe, little advantage with the sword, not going to come into play. It's 3 hits no matter what you're using for each phase.
Yep, and if done correctly, which Doomtap is doing an excellent job of right now, the fireballs go the same way, the heads fly the same way, and this is a very scripted fight. Very easy to lose the script, though, because you have to attack him pretty much as soon as possible. And there we go, first crystal of the match, 22 minutes in. Very clean blind fight.
And I fully expect we'll see another one of those from Ack in just a moment, as Doomtap is going to go and clean up the Village of Outcasts.
And Doomtap will be getting the cape here.
Now, do we see Doomtap going up and checking out the bumper ledge, and then maybe dipping the front of Skull Woods? Looks like that's going to be his approach. Leave the purple chest and the powder for a little later.
That makes sense, and also Doomtap's going to be checking Skullwoods first, then doing Bumper Ledge, and then Graveyard Ledge, which overall is a nice, clean set of routes. You get most of the North Dark World checks out of the way.
Yep, Graveyard Ledge again being one of those that it's easy to forget about, easy to leave alone.
And an excellent blind fight from Ack as well. Had a little bit of extra steel there with the Master Sword's slight increase in length. That is one of the problems with the Fighter Sword. Not only does it deal less damage, it's actually also shorter than all the other swords.
Yep, only by a little bit, but every little bit counts, especially when doing things like lining up a bomb jump.
And there's the... Okay, wow. Lamp in Skull Woods.
I mean, that's not the fire source that usually comes from this dungeon, but it might be a required one if the fire rod is behind it.
Oh no, I just thought of something. That lamp puts all 3 of the pedestal or pendant dungeons in logic at the same time.
All 3 pendant dungeons are now in logic. Well, no, not... Oh no, yeah. No, my mistake.
You can full clear all 3 pendant dungeons. And we're going to...
Doomtap is heading up towards one of them.
Yep, going up the mountain.
So yes, this is Tower of Hera access and all, but with that hammer, this is also just Death Mountain access. We got the whole thing.
Yeah, and with the Titan Switch, we can even check Dark Death Mountain and see the medallion on Eternal Rock. We might have it for all we know.
We very well could. 1 in 3 chance. So this is good item density and good information density.
Yeah, we're going to start by seeing what's on Spectacle Rock here. Only 20 rupees. What's inside Spectacle Rock, though? That's the 3rd sword!
There we go. That's worth picking up.
So, if Doomtap did not forget about the sword on Hylia, that's Tempered Sword for him. Because now I'm starting to wonder why he hasn't gone over and get that sword immediately. He might be waiting to do a saving quit, actually.
Might be waiting to loop that in with Ice Palace or just other stuff in that area.
And Ice Palace would be an ideal place to have the Tempered Sword. Magic Bat only giving us 20 rupees.
Now, depending where our 4th sword is, we might see Ack just ignore that one in Spectacle Rock. Because the jump from 2 to 3 is pretty good. The jump from 3 to 4, not as...
Yeah, 2 to 3 is almost critically important in Link to the Past, because that is when Ganon, if nothing else, will actually take damage from sword slashes, is amongst other things. You have to use spin attacks on him if you're going to fight Ganon with the Master Sword. It's the only way to damage him.
Yep, it's slower, it takes more shots, it's... You want Tempered Sword. You just want Tempered Sword.
Tempered Sword or Silver Arrow, so you don't have to sit for do 24
Yeah.
spins in phase 4. There's the bow for Ack. And we're about to see what this dig spot has. There's a red potion for Doomtap in the meantime. Dig spot. Oh!
Wow, a buried book.
Now that gives us access to Desert Palace. It also gives us access to our tablets. And as a reminder, that shovel was on Catfish. Doomtap may not get that. And if the flute is behind the book, that is a huge advantage in Ack's favor.
At the same time, if flute or boots are up on Death Mountain, just in movement mechanics, that's a big advantage for Doomtap.
Indeed, this can go either way right now. Ack's going to continue with the chest. And Spiral Cave has just first 10 arrows. Meanwhile, it's just a piece of heart from the purple chest.
Yeah, but now Doomtap is really getting up to the value and density on Death Mountain.
All right. The Bombo's tablet holds for us 10 arrows. And a little bit of swag.
Moonwalk?
Yes.
Did that move?
A little bit of swag there for Mac. I don't think that saves any time, but it's still hilarious to see. Alright, Mini Molder Cave. Oh!
Ooh.
Wake Medallion and the Red Mail found for both our runners. And
That
Quake's
red mail is
another-
nice, but that Quake could be essential.
Yeah, that's another one of our medallions, which could be required for all we know. And it's at another one-off location that Doomtap has not been checking. That's money there on the Desert Ledge. And this is our first look into Desert Palace, one of our 5-6 crystals this seed. Floating Island, only 20 rupees. In the meantime. And we're about to see what the medallion requirement is for Turtle Rock if that dead rock would leave Doomtap alone.
The medallion requirement is that dead rocks go away now.
Indeed. And the medallion is Bombo, so Doomtap can open and do a little bit of a dive in. Can't go too deep unless the key logic is just right. And it's Boots Lock Desert.
Ooh. So we are definitely going to see Boots somewhere, which might be good news for Doomtap. Boots is when you want to go and take care of Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, and hey, there's Graveyard Ledge, and depending on your angle, you might as well head on all the way over to Catfish.
It looks like Doomtap will in fact be checking the early floors here. So without the Fire Rod, Doomtap needs a specific key layout in order to get the Laser Bridge. This first chest he's opening needs to be a small key. Then Chain Chomps also needs to be a small key. And then finally the big key needs to be in its original chest. And then
Well,
I think he's in the clear.
I believe you're right, but Doomtap is going to test this layout and see how far it gets him.
Meanwhile,
is heading into Ice Palace, using that Bombos for that purpose.
Yeah, he doesn't... Ack doesn't know that the mountain's in logic, which this play does make sense from that respect. And Bombos does put this entire dungeon in logic as well. Cane of Burna, so we are Fire Rod locked out of Turtle Rock. Nice and early. So Doomtap knows the Fire Rod's not in there. Or anything locked behind it.
Yeah, that is good info to have, because Turtle Rock there's not much difference between your regular run and your go mode run, so you don't want to double dip it in as much as possible.
There's a bottle with B in it.
Not a very super bunny.
There's something to point out. Depending on the key placement here, Ack might be hookshot locked out of the dungeon logically, but with some clever bomb usage can bypass that.
Yeah, the first Ice Palace bomb jump that you'll see pretty much every runner do, and Ack is going to do in a moment. This won't save you if the dungeon is hookshot locked, but there is another Ice Palace bomb jump that is a bit trickier and will get you past that that blockade.
Doomtap opting not to go into Pendant Hera. Or no, he already did go to Pendant Hera.
Yeah, not going to clear it out, not going to gamble on pedestal. There's too much left to do.
That makes sense. And Hera's a fast enough dungeon to return to if needed. And the mountain didn't have anything really worthwhile other than the sword.
Yeah, surprisingly sparse. So, Ack putting that off by going to Ice Palace does work out.
Ack also using the Quake Finale in a great effect, kills Pen Gators instantly, provided they're not jumping in the air.
Yes, we all know every time a flying enemy, they're immune to Quake. That's how it works.
Ack's gotta be a little bit careful with his magic, but I don't expect Ack to be going to fight the boss without a green potion in tow or something. So that's a small key in that position, which means this dungeon's not hookshot locked, I think, anyway. Because we can now go over to where the hookshot lock side is just by opening the store.
Mm-hmm. Certainly you are able to avoid that room. The key logic always assumes you'll do the worst movement and the worst choices, so it might still technically be. I'm not 100% sure either. This dungeon has one of the more complicated key logics.
Yeah, so complicated in fact that the boss has a key. The dungeon expects you to have the Canis of Mario, which we actually do.
And Doomtap is heading up towards Pod. I'm going to pick that as the next pendant dungeon to dip into.
Well, this is not only our first look at Pod, this is our first look at the Eastern area period, so there's 3 items on Sahasrahla. And Green Pendant Pod may not be worth going to all the way to Helmsler King, but still 5 items in there and 3 items in Eastern, so fairly dense location that Doomtap's checking. I can get behind it.
Yeah, honestly, they're both taking different but pretty sound approaches. Doomtap going for raw item density and finding the French vanilla boots.
Nice! And we know those are required from Axe dip into desert.
But yeah, Axe dip into desert and now his dip into Ice Palace also makes total sense. These are crystal dungeons. You have to do them. Just focus on getting the crystals.
Ack is also specifically focused on trying to get the 5-6 crystals as well. Alright, so is this dungeon... No, it's not bow locked. Got a small key in the big chest there.
Doomtap skipping the bow side, though. I'm gonna head into the arena first.
Yeah, this makes pretty logical sense because... Oh no, gonna go straight to the... Oh! Doomtap.
Oh.
Hover.
A bold move that immediately was disregarded.
Yeah. But what Doomtap here is doing here is the more sane play of checking this chest, jumping down and checking this pitfall chest, getting half magic out of it too, and then the warp will actually push you on the bow locked path.
Yeah, very sensible route. Very solid cold stare fight from Ack. Had just enough magic to do a bombo sweep, and plenty of damage from that hammer.
And that's the second crystal in the match. First of our 5-6. But Ice Palace was more or less a bust.
Yeah, if Doomtap's able to hold it off and potentially even go mode it, that's time to save.
Pyramid Fairy isn't logic based on what we know, but Ack does not know where those boots are.
And Doomtap does not know where that book is.
It looks like Ack will be climbing the mountain. We'll find the third sword in the Spectacle Rock Cave. Oh, he's going further. Oh, Ack didn't check Ag, I think.
Yeah.
So, getting hit by a landmine.
Getting the good vanilla news. Not gonna have to worry about Aga at all this seed. Gonna go up and just do this cave in the dark. Not a hard dark room to do, all told.
What's worrying me is we have not found our fire rod, we haven't found our flute, and we haven't found the hook shot. Hook shot's like the next big item to find, I feel. Because that will open up swamp for us to just fully clear that out. And for all we know, the first one to have a swamp could have the hook shot.
It is completely in logic, and I've seen it. I've seen the hammer be in the first chest.
It always is terrible when it's there.
But yeah, at this point, like you mentioned earlier, Wolflink, we're at the stage that all of these pendant dungeons are completely...
And they all became completable as soon as that lamp entered Doomtap's hands. That lamp, as a reminder for folks, was in the big chest of Skull Woods, which Ack has never touched that region at all.
And Doomtap has decided not to touch Helmasaur. Gonna bail on out, and looks like a run down to Ice Palace. Which,
Yeah,
again, reasonable play, but that's the opposite direction of the necessary shovel.
Well, we don't know if the shovel's necessary. We just know it
Potentially
leads to the
necessary,
book.
yeah, true.
We know it leads to the book and not much else. Now, while that would give him Doomtap access to desert, doesn't necessarily mean that's the only way that's available. It's certainly the earliest in the lobby.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that fire rod can be behind any sort of lamp-locked location, so Doomtap has the equipment, minus the book. Might have to do desert vanilla, more or less, in order to get that fire rod. We'll see if Ack bothers to dip inside Hera, bothers to check this tablet, which it's looking like a yes.
So this is something else Doomtap has left behind. If it's something important, we'll know right here and now. And on the Ether tablet, we have just 20 rupees. So if the book is required, it is only for early Desert Palace access.
Yep.
Which is still a valid reason, considering it is a crystal. And for all we know, the 5-6 crystals could lead to an item or the flute, or something that locks the flute.
Meanwhile, Ack is making the same play that Doomtap made, heading up into Hera to get the 2 items out of here. No hookshot and a free big key means we're not going to see any Hera pot today.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to see some of the new tricks here. Which there is a few.
Yeah, the Hera pot is just like my personal favorite. It's interesting and kind of rearranges how you look at some of the some parts of the game.
To get stair clip.
Yeah, wandering into the hookshot locked room, so gonna have to nail the bomb jump here. Gets it first try.
Speaking of bombs, Zach was actually out of bombs when he did the bomb jump in Hera. Seems to be okay for now.
And Ack getting the good news that Turtle Rock is accessible. See how far he decides to dip in. Nope, gonna skip out entirely. Folks asking in chat about the Herapot glitch. If you have the hook shot and certain equipment for certain setups, you can clip yourself into some of those large pots that would take you down to the fairy basement. In Tower of Hera, that lets you skip needing the big key to get up to the higher floors. So it can save you quite a bit of time if the big key is behind the tile room. It's possible in any of those pots throughout the game, some of which lead to considerable skips, and those are not allowed. But the Hera pot, it's a little trickier to set up, doesn't save you a ton of time, it's a little risky, so we allow that in this tournament.
Yeah.
Alright, Spark Cave being checked by Acktheboker, we know what this is. Doomtap, I don't know where Doomtap is.
I think he just fell into the cold stair fight. So I fully expect this is a clear.
Yeah.
And once the stream clears up, we should see that.
Oh no, went down to Iced Tea room, looks like.
Oh, I must have missed track of where he was exactly.
So as a reminder for those in chat who are just now tuning in, the boots were in Sahasrah's closet. Other item discrepancies we have at this point in time. Lamp is in the big chest of Skull Woods. Book is in the dig spot with a shovel on Catfish. And Quake is... I forgot.
Quake is Quake was at Agina, the most forgettable man.
Apparently so.
So Ack here is cleaning up the rest of Death Mountain. We know we're not going to find much else of interest here. Made what wound up being a smart play by leaving off Turtle Rock for later. Although, as I say that, he's going into a portal and might head directly back to Turtle Rock. That's exactly what he's doing.
Mm.
You know what's also in logic I just realized? That first chest of Bookshot gave.
Yeah, that is logically accessible with boots. You can bonk your way there. Ack realized the ice rod is not the fire rod. Those are different items.
So, as Chad is noticing here, and unfortunate news I have to break, it seems that Doomtap's power has cut out. So, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get any more footage from him today. It's unfortunate, but have had it happen to me.
Yeah, that sort of thing is just outside of your control. But Ack is going to play this out.
Yeah, and Doomtap is in chat, and looks like he will just take the blow to the chin here, as it were. Because I don't know when Doomtap last saved. That'll be a huge time deficit for him. So yeah, it's official that Doomtap has forfeited from the race. Acktheboker will still keep going. Yeah, did fairly well. Looks to be his seed to win.
Yeah, Ack was definitely having an edge at that point, but not an insurmountable one, not a massive one, and certainly with Doomtap holding on to boots, it could have swung.
But yeah, let's focus on Acktheboker for the meantime, chat. He's still going strong here. I'm not sure how this will play out in the future races, but hopefully, well, we'll see. I don't know if Ack will take the game or
Yeah.
give his opponent a redo. Ideally, I would like to see, in my personal opinion, a redo, because the semifinals kind of deserve it to be no cheap wins as far as I'm concerned. This series deserves to have it play out in a sense of good sportsmanship, or like I'm just tripping over my own words at this point.
Well, it's worth noting, as Doomtap has confirmed a forfeit, but because of the power outage is not in the actual IRC chat doing the traditional dot forfeit, that would inform Ack. So as far as Ack knows, at this point in the race, it's still all good. It's still going.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe now it's not going.
Alright, so Ack was now in Skullwoods. Did find the lamp. And we'll see what he does next.
Yeah, not much left to do in Skullwoods. But there is something you can do in the Lost Woods with that book.
And the pedestal, I missed what it said.
It's just couch cash, don't worry about it. Okay, so we are going to see Ack clear out the rest of accessible Skullwoods. Doomtap did not do these 3 chests. There are only 2 items in Skullwoods. We only saw the one, so there's a fair chance there's nothing here, but might as well be thorough.
So yeah, just to catch everyone up to speed, Ack does not know that Doomtap's power has gone out. By the rules, he will win this match if he finishes. So, if he wants to redo, that's up to him and him alone.
But yes, for it to be a win, he does have to finish the seed, so we will continue to see this run. At least until that point. If Ack does not finish, it is basically a double loss, and it's a moot round.
Alright, so we're going to see Graveyard Ledge. This is something we didn't see.
Yeah, something we had expected Doomtap to come over and do a couple of times, because we were kind of willing him over towards Catfish. But just a piece of heart in there.
Acktheboker gonna be skipping Graveyard Ledge. Or, not Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb. Makes sense. No boots.
Yeah, hasn't come over to the east side, so it's a little under-equipped for North Dark World, or I guess North Light World.
Now, we still don't know where the Fire Rod, the Hookshot, or the Flute is. This could have been really good to the runners, or really bad to the runners. We don't know yet. And only Ack can tell us now. Alright, so this will be the boots for Ack. Alright, Ack, where are you gonna go?
Well, with those boots in hand, we know we have Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, We can finish Desert Palace. That is one of our 5-6. If that's the sort of thing that was specifically on Ack's mind, then I expect that will be a play pretty quick.
Yeah, it looks like Ack will not be doing that. Gotta check the block rocks first.
There's no reason not to check King's Tomb. You're not upsetting any royal spirits by plundering it.
Another heart container.
Yeah, this is looking like the move over to Desert to clear that out and get access to the Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, this is the main thing we were discussing before the unfortunate thing that happened to have happened. Is the book locking the flute? If it is, then Acktheboker had a massive advantage, because I don't think Doomtap would have checked the shovel at Catfish. Or found it, rather.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if the fire rod ends up being behind this, then we knew that the lamp was actually required. Less critical and less decisive in terms of our runners' routes, but still, that would be information that we would have at that point.
And there's the fire rod.
Okay.
So there was a booked locked fire rod.
Which means it was shovel locked, not lamp locked.
Yeah. I could also put the flute in Turtle Rock. Alright, Acktheboker going to be heading over to Desert. In the meantime, going to finish off Lamola's.
Yeah, I got those rods, so this is a fairly easy fight. Rods and the Tempered Sword. Whatever strat you use, it's probably going to be pretty seamless.
No more magic to fire the fire rod, but it did get at least one of the 3 Lamolas down.
Yeah, unfortunately the other two were seeking revenge. not playing along. Oh,
Nice double kill there. And that is the other 5-6.
so finding that Fire Rod does open up Skull Woods. And yeah, we have Turtle Rock open as well. Do you just run straight for a crystal, or do you bother with Pyramid Fairy just yet?
I'd say start with Pyramid Fairy, and then go check that Turtle Rock. Because the thing is, Turtle Rock is a crystal, but ideally you want to save it for last. At the same time, however, we do have everything we need for it.
Yeah, certainly if you're going to do a crystal, I would do Skull Woods first, for the exact reason you mentioned. You want Turtle Rock, or if it's a crystal, Tower of Hera, to be your last one.
To answer a question in chat here as to why this is continuing even though Doomtap lost his power. The race is not officially... Acktheboker is not officially locked in until he finishes the seed. So, if Act is not finished, then it results in a no contest. And he doesn't actually know the situation with Doomtap.
Yeah, so for Axe side, we are playing this out as normal. We will let administrators and the runners decide exactly how they want to handle things after the fact. But for now, Axe is just going to play his best and, clear this seed out as well as he can.
Yeah. Yeah, really nothing went wrong to the runner's credit. It's just an unfortunate situation has occurred on this race. And while it's disappointing, it does happen sometimes. So let's just enjoy Act finishing the seed as best as he can. And make sure to follow our two runners in the meantime as well. Doomtap, I think especially would enjoy some follows here. Because, well, they're both in the semifinals, really. They both deserve some recognition.
Yeah, as we were saying, up until the issues were happening, this was looking like it could have been Axe lead, but Doomtap had just the right advantages that could have... I am a little surprised that Ack is heading into Turtle Rock before Skull Woods.
Alright, so it was Big Key and Small Key over here on the Fire Rod Lost area. Alright, so this is our first look at Turtle Rock deaths here.
Yeah, I'm expecting a full clear. I'm not expecting, stealing the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like take that, go do Mimic Cave, do like you need to clear everything out. You're still 2 items from go.
Yeah, we still need to figure out where the hookshot is. Still need to figure out where the flute is. And for all we know, this reminds Ether, we might need to still find that as well.
Very true. And any of those, logically, can be on the pedestal. I think, I'm not positive on my item count, but I think all 3 of those could actually be in Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, and also, we did check Petto's couch, if you recall.
Oh, right. Yeah, for this seed, hookshot is absolutely required because even the best hovers won't get you through Swamp Palace.
Yep. There's the mushroom.
I mean, we've had one.
The fetch train continues. This is actually a pretty hilarious scene now.
Yeah, I mean, with how much the shovel paid off.
And there's silvers.
So this tells us there's practically no value in Ganon's tower, like in terms of unique items.
Yeah, the only thing that can be there's the flip.
Oh, there we go.
So that means the book was 100% required this seed, mind you. So Ack definitely had the major advantage in this seed.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if Doomcheck would have ever checked Catfish. Until
last location it.
Yeah. And we still don't know where the hookshot is. We could still potentially have it be in Swamp. Could be in Misery Mire now.
Could be right here in Laser Bridge. It was not.
Alright, so it's about to begin the try next fight. So as far as we're aware, hookshot for potential go mode, medallion pending. It will be go mode if for it'll be hookshot and go mode if it's not Ether for Misery Mire.
And I imagine certainly Ack knows that. I imagine he'll go over, activate the flute, and then head straight to Mire to check that, to try and get that extra information.
There's also a few items in that region as well.
Mm-hmm.
Trinex down for Acktheboker. That will be crystal number 4. And there's the bug catching net. So the only thing that could be in terms of unique items in Ganon's Tower now is the boomerangs and maybe Ether. I think we found all 4 bottles as well. There's also maybe a sword and a shield up there. We don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's surprisingly low unique item value. You always expect to see a couple in there just by how distribution works. But that's fewer.
Ack will check the one chest here in Hookshot Cave that is available. There's one of our boomerangs.
Okay.
Alright, time for the flute. Alright, with the flute online, Ack will most likely be heading over to Misery Mire region.
Or not. Running up, I guess. You know what? Skull Woods.
Skull Woods. Yeah, gotta go finish off Mob.
Yep.
That makes perfect sense.
You were probably, if you're doing Misery Mire, you're probably coming back to this direction anyway, or at least you have easy capacity to do so. So doing it now, doing it later, not a huge time difference. But this clears it out of your head.
Also, did we find both items in Skull Woods? I know we found the lamp in here, but I don't remember if we saw the other item.
I think we saw bombs.
I don't remember.
We definitely saw a lot of keys.
Yeah.
Skull Woods has a lot of keys.
Our tracker, Yoinker's wife, shoutouts to them for keeping those items up to date for us and keeping us honest here, as we've only found the lamp, apparently, in Skull Woods. So there is an item here in the back somewhere, and it could be our hookshot. We're in item hunt mode at this point.
Ack dropping in with no magic whatsoever, but that tempered sword means you're not too concerned about using the fire rod. Yeah, who needed a fire rod?
Off fight. You can't get much cleaner than that. Then there's the second item, a singular green rupee. But that is the 5th crystal of the game. You don't usually get to see a clean moth fight, mind you. So that is the sight to see. And now will be the flute to Misery Mire. No!
Oh, turning into a mushroom.
I like this from Ack.
I think Ack wants to go mode Misery Mire as much as possible. And so we'll do these overworld checks first on the off chance it's a hookshot. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. So the mushroom... So the fetch quest died, unfortunately. It was shovel to book to fire out the flute. But now the hookshot might be here in the Mire region. And the medallion to enter Misery Mire is in fact Quake, which Ack found, and at the time, Doomtap did not. Where was Quake again? Do you happen to remember? Agina had it.
That was
Another
Agina.
one-off.
The forgotten old man.
Let me start here. So, 2 items in Misery Mire anywhere from 2 to 6 items, maybe in. No, not just 2. I'm losing count. There's a few items available in Swamp, about half. But other than that, I think Ack has fully checked the overworld. Very thorough checks. So it's either
Yeah.
So it's either Green Pendant on Pod, or it's here in Mire, or it's in Swamp. Those are the only places the hookshot can be. And I don't know if we checked Eastern yet either, have we?
You're right. Neither runner has set foot into Eastern, despite being in the pod area. And Doomtap had set up pretty perfectly to do that check, and then just decided to avoid it. But it looks like no matter where that hookshot was, we have to do a bit longer of a run through Misery Mire.
Yeah. There's the map.
And now we're gonna have to take the cutscene chest.
Alright. Let's see what's here. We're looking for the hookshot for go mode at this point. And there's not really a lot of places left for it to be. Ack has been fairly thorough with his checks. And here in the cutscene chest, we have the big key. Alright, so we're gonna see the big chest here.
Yep, sticking on that theme of being thorough.
I mean, when you're in item on mode, it helps to be thorough.
Oh, absolutely.
Second item here, Piece of Heart. Acktheboker now knows that there is no items left, so we'll be heading to the boss. And Vitreous will, well, if you pardon the eye pun, blink and you'll miss the fight, because those silvers are going to absolutely shred him.
And I don't believe we saw Ack set up a spooky action, and I haven't seen any kind of reset for it, so looks like it's going to be a standard basement. Although I might be a liar.
Oh, it didn't go off there. Yeah, it looks like Ack didn't get it. I think spooky action has something as another factor involved in it. I don't think Act completely set it up.
Yeah, there's the altitude setting, and I believe there's a sort of deletion thing going on. It's very easily set up when runners flute in to the 6th spot and then go immediately into the dungeon. But Act did those Meyer overworld checks, and so I can imagine somewhere in there, even if it was set up, that something got lost or reset.
Yeah, now there is a manual reset you can do in the dungeon, but I don't know if Act pulled it off successfully. It looked like he didn't. And down goes Vitreous.
Hmm.
So
yeah, spooky action saves you time, but the silver arrows really save you time.
Oh yeah. There's a reason why Vitreous is normally locking them. But yeah, that's Crystal 6, and all we have left is Swamp and the hookshot to find for it. And at this point, I'd say dive Swamp. As crazy as that sounds. It's got a fair amount of items. It's the most dense location left in the seed. Could just be vanilla.
Very well could be. But Ack is going to take a trip over to the east and maybe a pod dip. Although I thought he already has been in here, but certainly has not been in Eastern Palace.
No. And this looks like maybe Ack is going to grab the green pendant. Or no, Jack has not been in this area at all.
Did he really just... Yeah, he just grabbed the boots and left. I really thought he had at least opened up pod.
He did not, and we should have known this because the half magic was in pod.
Oh, of course, of course.
So we know other than that, I think Ack will find the 4th bottle. And the half magic. Eastern, on the other hand, we have not seen.
Yeah, not been in there whatsoever.
And with Eastern having or rather, Helma having the green pendant, there is at least one item guaranteed on him, even if the dungeon itself doesn't have an item on the heart drop.
Yes, as mentioned in chat, the Dark Cross that people have been mentioning periodically, that is the sewers chest during the escape sequence. Both of our runners have pretty much orphaned that, left that alone. It is possible to access without any fire source if you can handle the dark rooms. The enemies are a little unpredictable. That is one of those locations that, with our rule set, having the lamp or the fire rod counts as enough illumination to get there. So we could have gotten there without the lamp at all. Yeah, as we've been saying, Ack has been pretty thorough about locations, so that is the one kind of one-off that's still left for him.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if you don't end up like last locationing that, if the hookshot ends up being there or in the Eastern, those are very early accessible locations. You don't feel very good about that for sure.
Yeah.
Really not much left of this seed, if you think about it.
Yeah, we've been through most of it. I'm wondering what the item count is going to be at the end of it all.
That is also something I wonder.
I'm guessing a lot of the items that aren't getting picked up are going to be heart pieces. Because for how much we've done, Ack is sitting on 14 hearts, and that's a little lower than I might expect. Okay, 15 hearts, fine. Now everything is reasonable.
Alright, Acktheboker is gonna go check Helmazar King. This is something that Doomtap chose not to do when he was here in Pod.
Yep, Doomtap cleared out the rest of the place, but did not bother with the boss. Same case with Tower of Hera. We know Hera isn't going to lead to anything in that regard, but again, like Wolf said, Green Pendant here could very well be the key.
Yeah, and if you're gonna be going back to Light World after this to check Eastern, it makes sense to pick up the Green Pendant here in Helmazar King. Turn that in after you're done checking Eastern for what's your go mode, essentially, in case the hookshot is on Green Pendant. Which we didn't know. We don't know still.
Yeah, we do know that Helmasaur himself will have the compass. Harmless Hellway with Skip, that's just a small key. By the key logic, it has to be. This won't be as quick as Vitreous, but still a quick fight.
Alright, Helmazar King, please tell me you got something good on you. And not just the Green Pendant. I wasn't keeping track of the dungeon items, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, it will be the compass. We've only seen the map. So we are banking on that Green Pendant, or just dip straight into Eastern. It's right here. Literally.
Ignoring Eastern, gonna go check the Green Pendant immediately. Makes sense to me.
And it's Ether.
Well, if he had done that before finding the flute, that would have actually given him peace of mind, but that's just not helpful at all. And it looks to be a Swamp Palace play.
This is aggressively skipping Eastern.
Yeah. You would think the first dungeon in the game would be a first pick for most runners, but nope.
It's an easy dungeon. It's a short dungeon.
Yeah. Whereas Swamp is the most unpalatable play when you don't have the hookshot. The best way I can phrase it.
It's got a reputation for sure.
Yeah, so it's either here in Swamp or it's in Eastern. That's pretty much what we're down to.
Well, there's our last sword, at least. So
And
the quantity in Ganon's tower reduces even further.
yeah, it's only the mirror shield. Actually, I think it's only the mirror shield and the red boomerang at this point. And maybe one bottle. I forget where the fourth one is. And as Africa has mentioned in chat, as soon as this race is completing, we will have another randomizer for you, but not of Link to the Past. There's the hook shot.
Oh,
That's Goma for Ack. But yeah, we will have a Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer race for you coming up after this race's conclusion.
that is rude. Yeah.
That is rude, but this is the last dungeon, at least. So we see Go Mode. The end is in sight now for Ack.
And hey, at least it wasn't on the left side.
And we've known Pet is dead for a while now. Ack did read the pedestal for us. But yeah, Gold Sword, Silver Arrows is going to be a pretty smooth victory for Ack.
Yeah,
Or at least
Ganon has
finish.
no chance.
Yeah, there is. And it's also 15 hearts red mail. With, I think, a free red potion somewhere in the storage. And half magic. Yeah, this is going to be smooth sailing. Even have the net and the powder to capture a fairy on the fly if need be. And ladies and gentlemen, that is crystal number 7, and you all know what that means. We have a game we like to play.
There are...
Yes, go ahead and explain it.
You want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah, you
There
go
are
ahead.
20... Okay. Everyone's so excited. We're putting in numbers already. There are 22 item locations in the Ganon's Tower basement where that big key could be. Put your guesses in chat. Once we do the start.
And
now
look
you
at
may
him fly. So yeah. Our tracker says 15. I'm going to say... I want this seat to end relatively quickly. So I'm going to say it's like chest 3.
I'm going to say 4.
Alright. That makes sense. So folks, while Ack is racing up here, I'd like to remind you about the schedule card of the day. We do have the SMB3 randomizer coming up immediately following the race's conclusion. Elsewhere on Speed Gaming 3, we have Azure Dreams being played. We have the Mario Maker 2 weekly over on Speed Gaming 5. We got Mega Man 9 and Speed Gaming 4. And then a little bit later in the afternoon at 3 o'clock, we have Super Mario Bros. 3 randomizer. That's coming up in the next hour or so. And of course, for terms of the Link to the Past randomizer tournament, later tonight we will have Game 2 between the other two semifinalists, Jet082 versus Ninman, here on Speed Gaming. So lots and lots of races coming up for you guys. If you want to stick around and watch. Alright. Guesses are closed. As we are now about to see where the big key is in Ganon's tower. First chest of the map. Second chest, 50 rupees. Item 3 is a key, but it's the wrong key for me. Small key on the torch. 4, 5, 6, and 7 coming up here. And it's chest number 5. So close on both for our front. Ah!
So close, but GFE 12 got it on the nose. So congratulations. And now we get our run up the gauntlet. And as with Ganon himself, when you're holding gold sword and silver arrows and plenty of health, you're not really afraid of this at all. It's mainly about getting these rooms down quickly.
Yeah. The gauntlet is a real test of execution because the enemies all move randomly. Here, this is Axe, the Stalfos. All of them have that same walking AI that you can see here. Where they look and then move for a completely random amount of time.
Yeah, throw in those conveyor belts.
The ice physics, the BMOS.
Yeah. Everything is just, we're here to be rude.
Yeah. Lambo 2 going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy fight. And with that, the gauntlet is concluded. And now onto the fun execution floor. Because you get to do stuff like this.
And so long as you have boots, those fork-wielding enemies are not a problem. We'll be up to Moldorm 2 in just a moment.
And yeah, we'll be taking the double heal here from the powder. Oh, didn't quite get the bomb onto the wall.
Yeah, take full advantage of that refill room.
And Moldorm 2, behaving somewhat.
You know, could be worse.
Could be worse. All right. Time for Aga 2. Nice double to start things off.
Ooh, gets bounced into a single.
Yeah, blue balled. 3, 4. No, 4, 5. My mistake. One more hit. There it is. So 2-1, 2-1 for Acktheboker here, and it is now time for him to fight the pig. Gold sword, silver arrows in hand. Pretty easy fight coming up here. It'll just be 6 slashes for the first phase, is the trident throw, and the second phase, the fire shield. After which, it'll move on to phase 3, in which Ganon will stomp the ground every time he hits. The teleports are fixed, so the both runners would have the same pattern. And afterwards, after 4 hits are dealt, it is time for the darkness technique. Keep the torches lit, slash with the sword, lure to stun, 4 silver arrows, and the day is yours. Act with dash strats here.
I mean, you got the boots, you might as well use them. So we are well past enough hits to clear out that phase.
Alright, so now we're in the ground stomp phase. Teleports are a little bit trolly this time around. Nice. This looks like it could be a triple. Oh, not quite.
Ah. There we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, that officially will mark Acktheboker as the winner. With an official SRL time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, 47 seconds. And at this point in time, 40 minutes ago, he was informed that his opponent did lose power. So he is aware. So we do have time for a quick interview. Hopefully he'll come in. And unfortunately, no interview from Ack. So
Yep, that he has to head off. So yes, with the power outage and all that, as of this moment, Ack has taken game 1. Any adjustments will be decided by admins and the runners, and that will be taken care of
yes.
in its own time.
This is an unfortunate way to start off this semifinal set, but these things happen. It really does. That's the best way to put it. This could happen to anyone. It just kind of sucks that it happened during a semifinals game. So yeah, like my co-com Huffman said, there will be an admin and a runner decision based on this. This result may not be final, but if it is, we will see Doomtap trying to win him back in game 2 and 3. And once again, folks, we do have a randomizer coming up here, so we do have to get off the air. Make sure to follow our runners, and of course, Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 to miss any racing action, not just Link to Fast Randomizer. Give a follow to my co-com Huffman, and of course to our tracker, Yornker's wife, for doing an excellent job here tonight as well.
Yeah, but with that, we'll hand you over to Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer. Thanks for watching.
Yep. From all of us here at Link to Fast Randomizer, I have been Wolfling0690. We just see you all next time, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy the races.